Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Now, here we go. Welcome into another episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. One of these days, I'm going to get that mute button right. It's going to get it exactly right. I'm your host, Cam Stewart, here to tell you that Jennifer Love Hewitt is as hot as she has ever looked. Come on, people. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. We're also going to talk about some hockey as well, everything going on in the world of Boston sports. We're going to talk about Gavin McKenna, whether the Bruins should tank for him, and if they are the best fit for Gavin McKenna, and therefore the best fit for the NHL, because we know that thing does come into play here. We're also going to talk about the Roman Anthony extension. We're going to find the one person who doesn't like it and try to analyze why this freaking idiot does not like having 8 more years of Roman Anthony. Plus, we will take a look in the Red Sox system. What prospect you might have forgotten about is going to make an impact for this team at the end of the regular season and, yes, in the playoffs. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. But we start where we start. You saw the thumbnail. That's what we go with. It's time to talk a little bit of Bruins hockey. Could the Bruins really sacrifice an entire season for one player? Let's dive into that controversial topic. Should they be tanking? Is Gavin McKenna more than just one player? Because you give up this season and you get Gavin McKenna instead, that is more than a draft pick. Okay, that is the future of your franchise right there, the face of it right there. Let's see if this is the move for the guy they're calling the best NHL prospect since Connor McDavid. And boy, has he lived up to it so far in a couple of years in the WHL. Okay, first year, 97 points in 61 games for the Medicine Hat Tigers of the WHL. This past year, 129 points in 56 games, including 88 assists. The youngest WHL player of the year since John Tavares. All of this before he even turns 18. He'll suit up for the Penn State Nittany Lions in the NCAA this year as a 17-year-old for his first game. The great prospects in this sport are getting younger and younger. We had all the hype around Celebrini, around Bedard, back 10 years to McDavid. Gavin McKenna fits that hype and maybe then some. You saw it with the NHL Draft this year. There weren't many draft day trades, weren't many trades in this offseason because teams don't want to give up their first-round pick. It might be too great a risk to lose the chance at Gavin McKenna because they saw what happened this year with the Islanders, supposed to be picking 10th, end up picking number 1. God forbid that happens to them next year and they don't have that pick. Nobody is dealing their first-round pick in 2026 except, maybe the Florida Panthers. They already have. Anyone who's anyone in this league is trying to at least keep the dream alive that they could go out and get Gavin McKenna. So now we should take a look at who the best fits would be for McKenna. Who needs him the most and who is that going to benefit the most in the eyes of the NHL, which is always a controversial topic, right? Why does one team need him more than the other? He's one of the best prospects in the last decade, if not the very best. Well, here's what they're going to like around the National Hockey League. Number 1 team, desperate for Gavin McKenna. It would be a great fit for him and a great fit for the league. The Chicago Blackhawks. How could they not be, man? Playing alongside Connor Bedard, his cousin by marriage. I think they've hung out a couple of times. But you've got your generational center and your generational winger. And this Blackhawks team has not gotten any better the last couple of years of Bedard. That's not really his fault. But we're talking about a Blackhawks team that is a decade removed from a dynasty. And right now is like hanging off the precipice of being the Buffalo Sabres. Like they're very close to being one of the worst run organizations in all of hockey, which is what they were before drafting Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane and becoming a dynasty. They're pretty close to that. Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years, but you get what I'm saying. Like organizational mismanagement here. They don't have anybody left from the dynasty years in terms of that front office, coaching staff, players, obviously. There's no semblance of those 3 Stanley Cups that they won in the 2010s. So it's all gone. What they have is Connor Bedard, a couple other pretty good prospects, and a whole lot of hope. Like, that's about it. Bedard, Nazar, some of these other ones that are coming in the next few seasons, they're going to be right there in the lottery again. And you're talking about an original six city that is a terrific hockey town, probably the second best in America, I'd say. The NHL would love to have that revitalized with two young stars like Bedard and McKenna, because they've seen that formula work in that very city before in our lifetime, okay? It would be just like having Kane and Taves added to their team in 2006 and 2007. It would just make so much sense, and it would absolutely revitalize what is obviously a pretty bad hockey team right now. And let's face it, a sports town that is ready to have someone winning again. The Cubs are having a good year, but outside of that, the White Sox are coming off the worst season in modern baseball history. The Bears didn't really get any better with having 2 top 10 picks, including their new starting quarterback. And the Bulls are just pathetically mid. And the Blackhawks are horrible. They need something going on in that city. Gavin McKenna would be a huge lift for them. Now let's get close to my heart, shall we? The next team that could desperately use Gavin McKenna and would be great for the league, of course, that next team is the Boston Bruins. Gavin McKenna playing in Boston would be A1 prime theater for the NHL. Gary Bettman loves his American markets, and there is no better American hockey market than Boston. It is the number one hockey town in the United States. Am I biased? Of course I am. Yeah, naturally I am. But come on, man. Gavin McKenna on one side, David Pastrnak on the other. You could stick anybody you want at center. You can stick Elias Lindholm there. You can keep Pavel Zacha there. You can put Fraser Minten there for all I care. If you've got Pastrnak on one side, Gavin McKenna on the other, there is a Stanley Cup in the Bruins' future. And in terms of looking at it for this year, because that's how we have to look at it, if they're going to tank, it's going to be this year. This Bruins team, to me, is closer to the number one pick than they are to the postseason. I know there are some Bruins fans out there that are, saying, well, if this works, and I get it. I do see a scenario where the Bruins could push for the playoffs. A lot needs to go right. But you look at what this team was from March 7th, the NHL trade deadline, on to the end of the regular season. They were horrible. They were a team that, if they continued that form, would have probably the best odds at Gavin McKenna in 2026. They were just dreadful. And to be totally honest with you, they didn't get that much better. Okay? They're getting Charlie McAvoy back, who they didn't have in that stretch. They're getting Hampus Lindholm back, who they didn't have in that stretch. They're probably getting a bounce-back year from Jeremy Swayman. But that's 3 things already that you need to go right just for you to be mid. To crawl out of the doldrums of being one of the worst teams in the league. That's 3 major things that need to go your way. And if you're going to make the playoffs, you'll need those 3 things, plus Elias Lindholm to bounce back, Pavel Zacha to bounce back. You will need real key contributions from your young guys like Fraser Minten, like Matthew Poitras. You need Morgan Geekie to score 30 goals again. A ton needs to go right. You need to actually put together a goaltending tandem. So much needs to go right for the Bruins to actually make the playoffs in probably the toughest division in the NHL. Nobody wants their team to lose games on purpose. But let's be honest here. When we're talking about the future, the long-term future of the Bruins, what is going to be better off for them? Making the playoffs as the last wild card team this year and getting pushed around by Florida or Washington if they make that kind of run again, or Toronto, or getting someone like Gavin McKenna and building your team for the future. I know which way I'm going. I certainly know which way I'm going. Now, David Pastrnak is one of the best players in the NHL, and he's in his prime right now. But let's be honest, the Bruins need to start over. Everything except Pastrnak and maybe McAvoy and maybe Swayman, you've got to build out everything else. Okay? What Gavin McKenna could do for the Bruins is actually kickstart their Stanley Cup window rather than being a full teardown rebuild. And here's why. If you get Gavin McKenna in the 2026 draft, you've already landed that number 1 pick. That opens up so many doors for the Bruins because now you go from all the things that make the Bruins great, right? The fan base, original Six City. They used to have a commitment to winning. The Bruins all of a sudden become this greatly supported original 6 team that is horrible with no direction and no future in their front office or on their coaching staff to all of a sudden, hey, this is a well-supported original 6 team that also has a top 5 offensive player in David Pastrnak, that does have a franchise goalie in Jeremy Swayman, a franchise defenseman in Charlie McAvoy. They've actually got some good prospects, and they're going to land the top prospect of the last 10 years. That changes everything. And when you look at a 2026 free agent class that is absolutely stacked, having Gavin McKenna on your roster changes how all of these guys view the Boston Bruins. And they'll have some money. So if you get Gavin McKenna number 1 overall, that might change how Jack Eichel thinks about this. Right now, Jack Eichel's thinking, yeah, I grew up a Bruins fan. I'm from Boston. But why would I ever leave Vegas? We're going to be probably the best team in the NHL this year. I've got a 100-point winger who's just been added to my line. Got no taxes, good weather, a city that supports us. Why would I ever leave Vegas? If you get Gavin McKenna number 1 overall, that changes things. Then you say, I could center a line with David Pastrnak, who's better than Mitch Marner, and have Gavin McKenna on the other side of things. And I can be the hometown hero. I can win a Stanley Cup with my hometown team, having a generational prospect right next to me. That changes a lot. So beyond what McKenna gives you just for the talent and the face of the franchise thing, he changes your free agency expectancy day 1. As soon as you land that pick, you haven't even picked him yet, you become a much sexier destination in free agency. Something you haven't been through the mostly ups, but some downs of the last 20 years. The Bruins have clearly not been a free agency destination for 20 years. They don't do free agency well. They don't necessarily do the draft well. They don't do trades very well in the Don Sweeney tenure. But what they have done well is taking care of their homegrown guys. Brad Marchand being the one notable exception 15 years into his career when they finally had a bad team. Other than that, Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, they stayed there their whole careers. David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, Charlie McAvoy, they're all well taken care of. They don't want to leave Boston. You can fix a lot of ills with this team by just having one bad season. And even though he is so young, again, he's not going to turn 18 until 5 days before Christmas this year. He can actually jumpstart your Stanley Cup contending window faster than a lot of other teams that are going to be in on Gavin McKenna. It's as simple as that. Just like it is with any team. You get McKenna in here, it's an absolute game changer for the next decade of your franchise. But now it's time for me to be really honest with you. Now it's time for honesty. I want Gavin McKenna to play for the Bruins. But what's actually going to happen is he's going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. Let's not kid ourselves here. This is the NHL. This is what's actually going to happen. Gavin McKenna from UConn, the Yukon Territory, not the University of Connecticut, the Yukon Territory, commits to play at Penn State, where they've produced 5 NHLers all time and about 20 NHL games. He goes to Penn State. They're going to offer him $700,000. And you look at the Penguins in the same state. The Penguins are terrible. They're not trying to get any better. They are trying to lose this year. They're going to trade Raquel. They're going to trade Rust at some point. Evgeni Malkin's probably going to retire at the end of this season, and they're going to need another star. The last time the Penguins were this bad for this amount of time, as in like a handful of years, the NHL practically gifted them Sidney Crosby. And what happened then? Mario Lemieux comes back, plays one more year with Sid, just to show him the ropes. Generational prospect coming into Pittsburgh. You've already got a Hall of Famer on the roster, one of the great icons in the history of the game, who can just stay on one more year and show the kid the ropes. Is this sounding familiar? Sidney Crosby's 38 years old. His days are numbered in this league, although he can still play a little bit. He's going to stay on one more year after his buddy Gino is retired. Sidney Crosby's going to stay on one more year. He's going to play alongside Gavin McKenna on the same line, and he's going to show him the ropes. And hockey will be back in Pittsburgh, and they will win more Stanley Cups. The last time the Penguins were this bad, they got seriously lucky and won the Crosby sweepstakes. After the lockout season, the kind of faulty system and how they did it, they win the lottery. It's going to be just like what Mario Lemieux did with Sidney Crosby. Crosby's going to do it with Gavin McKenna. And is Pittsburgh one of the biggest markets in the league? No, it's actually a relatively small market, but obviously a great hockey market. They love the Penguins there. And it has happened this way twice before. The Penguins aren't in real trouble of relocating like they have been before. But in the early 80s, they were as dead as a doornail, man. Nobody cared about the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then Mario Lemieux came in with the number 1 overall pick. And he made them into what the Penguins were, what they are. Won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Lemieux becomes one of the 3 or 4 best players ever to play the sport. And then they're about to get sold and probably relocate again. They have to be owned by the league. Lemieux buys them. He saves them. And then they're in this horrid stretch. They get Marc-Andre Fleury, number 1. They get Evgeni Malkin. And then, after the lockout, oh man, all of a sudden Pittsburgh's got the number 1 pick again. Here comes Sidney Crosby. Like, any of us who know their NHL history know that this is how it's going to happen, okay? I would love for Gavin McKenna to play for the Bruins. I think the league would love Gavin McKenna to play for someone like Chicago. They don't want him to play for San Jose or Anaheim or Nashville, who I don't think is going to be in the equation. I think Nashville's probably going to be close to a playoff team this year. What they would really love, though, is for Gavin McKenna to play alongside Sidney Crosby, 2 of the greatest prospects to ever grace the ice. One is a legit, obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 or 6 player ever to play, and the next one right next to him. Like, seriously, if they could have lined up Sidney Crosby next to Wayne Gretzky, they would have. They got the next best thing, and now they're going to get it again in a hockey-crazed market. So if you believe in conspiracy theories, you want to put the tinfoil hat on, here it is. Gavin McKenna to Pittsburgh. Make no mistake about it. That is what the league wants more than just about anything. They'd love to have him in an original 6 city, good American market. They'll get the next best thing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, by the way, they're going to be so bad, it's going to be barely conspiratorial. I think they could be the worst team in the league this year. Chicago will be right there. I think San Jose will get better. Anaheim will get better. Nashville will get better. Boston will be in that mix as well, for sure. My Bruins will be in that mix. But Pittsburgh is the one of those teams that didn't really do anything in free agency. They didn't blow anybody away in the draft. They didn't have a top 5 pick, nothing like that. They're horrible. And they will continue to be horrible. And Sid's going to leave this thing in good hands because he's going to play alongside Gavin McKenna, the next great Canadian hockey prospect. The best since Connor McDavid. Maybe since Connor Bedard. maybe since Crosby. Because reading the scouting reports, seeing the numbers, seeing the highlights, Gavin McKenna is closer to a Crosby McDavid kind of prospect than he is a Taylor Hall kind of number one pick. Even closer to those other guys than a Jack Hughes, let's say. So what's going to happen? Where is Gavin McKenna going to end up? Original six like Chicago or Boston? Or is this thing just all going to happen again and he's going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. Helps me keep my job. We are here every weekday live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well, talking nothing but Boston sports. So check it out. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking a lot of hockey, a lot of Gavin McKenna, and you can find us, again, every weekday. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up next, the Red Sox have solidified their future. Everyone loves Roman Anthony. Well, one person out there does not like the Roman Anthony deal. How? Why? We'll tell you next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
Welcome back to our show. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. It's called that because my name is Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week. We're talking Boston sports, man. We talked about Gavin McKenna coming to the Bruins next year. We already went over it. Plus, we will talk about the Red Sox, Roman Anthony extension, and their mystery prospect you might have forgotten about that's going to help out this team this year in the pennant run for sure. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. But we start with Roman Anthony. The big breaking news for the Red Sox this week, Roman Anthony, the number one prospect in baseball, the face of this franchise, at least gets locked down to be the face of this franchise. 8 years, $130 million, with the opportunity to get up all the way to $230 million if he wins a couple of MVP awards. But who's putting that past him? It was the best Red Sox news we've gotten in a while, other than the fact that they keep winning and could potentially win the division this year and be a playoff team. Everyone I knew was excited about this. Social media was a buzz. I was getting texts left and right. My dad was giddy about this. The Red Sox really have something in Roman Anthony. I think everybody who's watched this team can see that over the last 2 months when he's been here. This kid's legit. He's for real. He's the number one prospect in baseball for a reason. Everyone is so happy about this in Red Sox Nation. Well, almost everybody. Leave it to sports talk radio, man. They hate this. They hate this deal. Because, of course, it's something that's just happens. It's good, it's bad, doesn't matter. They hate it. I try not to listen to Boston sports talk radio much anymore. It's really kind of the reason why I do this show all the time, to do something different. But when something big like this happens, I'm in. I'm like, all right, let's get the reaction. Let's hear how good this is. Not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone thinks locking down the number one prospect in baseball for the next 8 years at a very favorable price for the Red Sox is a good thing. On 98.5 yesterday, as the news was breaking, Mark Bertrand, not happy.
So based on 7 weeks of being in the major leagues, the Red Sox needed to sign him to a deal that buys out 3 or 4 years of free agency. That just tells you what they are. They're a bunch of cheap pricks now. That's what they are. That's what John Henry is. He's a cheap prick. He doesn't want to invest in real players. He is afraid. He is afraid of Roman Anthony turning into the player that a lot of people believe he will be, and then having to pay him. The same way he was afraid of continuing to pay Rafi Devers for his bat. So that's what they do. Now this is what they do. They sign Bayo. They go ahead and sign Christian Campbell, who's nowhere to be found. We may never see him again.
Rafaela.
How stupid of them to do that. How stupid was that? I mean, what are we doing here, man? Like, seriously, we can't even be happy about this? Because, by the way, is John Henry a cheap prick? Yeah, he is. Like, we know that. By the way, Bertrand also said he didn't like this because what has Roman Anthony done? Overrated. He literally said the word overrated. What has he done? I don't know. That's just someone who doesn't watch the team. That's all it can be. Like, obviously, Zolak doesn't watch the team. And I guess Bertrand doesn't either, because if you watch this team at all the last 2 months and think, yeah, Roman Anthony's not quite up to stub, I can't help you. I can't help you past that. But back to the point here, because there's two major things that I have a problem with here. Because at the end, they say, oh, this is just like what they did with Bayo and Campbell and Rafaela. And we should hate that. We should legitimately hate that. Christian Campbell, I get it, down in AAA. He's going to be back with this team at some point. Wink, wink. It's a little nudge to the next segment. Christian Campbell's going to be back. He was the AL Rookie of the Month in April. The kid's going to play, and he's hit at every level. He didn't just forget how to hit. But let's look at the other two. Oh, just like you did with Brian Bayo and Cedar Rafaela. Oh, boy, I hope he doesn't turn out to be like that. It's not like Cedar Rafaela should have been an all-star this year. It's not like Brian Bayo has a top 10 ERA in all of baseball right now. Boy, shit, I hope Roman Anthony doesn't start leading the league in things. I hope he's not top 10 in major offensive categories. That would really suck. Were people really bitching about this? Like, were people actually upset when Ronald Acuna Jr. got his deal with the Braves? When Corbin Carroll got his deal with the Diamondbacks? Jackson Chourio before he even played a game for the Brewers? How about that Vlad Guerrero Jr. bridge deal? Because Toronto does have a lot of money too. They did this with him 3-4 years ago. And now he gets paid $500 million. Why are we upset that this has happened? Why are we upset that Roman Anthony is a Red Sox for the next 8 years? And the other thing I want to push back on, because I do understand the reasoning. I do understand the reasoning of bitching about the contract and not wanting to pay market value. I actually understand that argument fundamentally. Mid-market teams do this because they know they can't afford the guy when he's in his prime or about to enter in his prime and he's a free agent. The problem with this deal, in terms of that argument, is this. Roman Anthony is going to become a free agent at age 29. Okay? He is still going to be in his prime. You're going to get, hopefully, the best years out of him, right? But he's still going to be 29 years old when this contract's up, which means you will have to pay market value still in order for him to not become Mookie Betts in Red Sox lore, right? You have not locked him up for his entire career, but you also haven't done a bridge deal to age 25 where he can go out there and get $500 million, $600 million. You've put it in the middle. You've bought yourself most of Roman Anthony's prime, but you will still have to pony up a lot of money to get all of Roman Anthony's prime. So that's where the argument loses me. You're not signing him through 25. You're not signing him through 34. You're signing him through 29. 29? You would still have to pay him after that. Are the Red Sox cheap? Certainly seems like it. There's all other kinds of things we can point to. The Raffy Devers deal, chief among them. Not extending Alex Bregman yet, chief among them. But this one is where you lose me. Like, if you're upset that Roman Anthony is going to be here for 8 more years and you're going to call them cheap for signing him to the biggest pre-arbitration contract in the history of baseball, then you're just going to bitch about anything. You're just going to be mad at anything they do. And there's plenty to be mad about with how the Red Sox operate. Trust me, I do it on this show all the time. Signing the number 1 prospect in baseball to an 8-year deal that's less than $20 million AAV, that is not one of them. The only person that should be mad about this is Roman Anthony's agent. That is the only person. But instead, you get people who are paid a living to talk about the Red Sox every day that are saying, no, this sucks. Overrated. What has this guy done? Oh, just the Red Sox being cheap once again. Yep. Look how it worked out with Bayo and Cedar Rafaela. I'd say it worked out pretty well so far. It's worked out okay. Those are 2 core pieces to a team that's going to make the playoffs this year. And a third one, you signed to a bargain deal that was still more than twice the amount of what those other guys are getting. And you'll still find a way to bitch. He's overrated and they're too cheap. His contract's worth double what Cedar Rafaela's is, and then some. But they're too cheap. That's the only takeaway from this Roman Anthony deal. Me, a real person who breathes through my nose, who watches this team every day, I'm excited about this. I think Roman Anthony is the real freaking deal. And I think anybody who watches this team would agree with that. Like, for sure, man. The last 2 months, he's been tearing the cover off it. Oh, he's a singles hitter. Like, yeah, he's lost his power. He forgot how to hit the baseball out of the ballpark. It's not that he's a 21-year-old, barely 21-year-old in his first 2 months of Major League Baseball. He just sucks. He's forgotten how to do it. Just like they said with Christian Campbell. They can't do it anymore. Meanwhile, he's got an 850 OPS over the last 2 weeks. He's got one of the best on-base percentages in all of baseball. And when he makes contact, he's ripping the cover off it. And he's been in clutch situations and has come through in clutch situations. But we're supposed to be bummed out about that. We're not supposed to like that. We're supposed to see that and say, the Red Sox are cheap. They should have waited 5 years to a financial territory completely unknown in terms of where they are financially and where the contracts are financially. They should have waited until then and then spent the most amount of money possible. Are you following me here? Are you poking the holes through this logic with me? If you are, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Over 90% of you aren't actually subscribed. We're bringing you nothing but Boston sports content every day. And get involved in that comment section below. What do you think about the Roman Anthony deal? What do you think about these blowhards that don't like the Roman Anthony deal? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, find the other videos and other segments going out on YouTube, talking a lot of Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. We're live on YouTube, noon Eastern time every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up, the Red Sox are going to need some reinforcements here, okay? They're in good shape, but they are going to need some reinforcements. There is a prospect out there that everyone's forgotten about who is going to help the Red Sox in the most important games of the season. We'll tell you who that is coming up next on The Cam Show.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science, take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Welcome back to the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air 5 days a week, as he does, because we're live on YouTube. We are every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We have talked Bruins, Gavin McKenna. We have talked Red Sox, Roman Anthony. Let's talk about the Red Sox player you've forgotten about, the prospect that you've forgotten about that is going to be a huge part of this team going forward as they push towards the postseason. Shall we? Shall we get into that next? You've forgotten about him. You've probably written him off. A lot of Red Sox fans have. But Christian Campbell is coming. If you're looking for someone to add to this team in September and possibly October and be a first base bat for you, the answer is a lot closer than you think. They didn't make a deal for anyone at the trade deadline, which I think is really telling. A, Craig Breslow's not good at making deals. B, they like what they have in Christian Campbell still. I'm amazed at how many people in the know for the Red Sox, and I'm talking like fans I have respect for on social media and journalists who I have respect for, who are just forgetting Christian Campbell, who are out on Christian Campbell. We may never see him again. His confidence is completely gone. He's a bust. He's not a major leaguer. Waste of a contract. Seriously? Guys played 2 months of Major League Baseball. Sending him down to AAA, is that ideal? Of course it's not ideal. Nobody wants to see that. But the Red Sox were in a position, actually, when they sent him down, where they had some flexibility. They could send him down. William Abreu was back. Devers had just been dealt. You were kind of running out of room. You needed to option somebody down. It wasn't going to be Roman Anthony. Christian Campbell, who was really struggling at the time, perfect candidate for it. They also needed him to learn first base. He's gone down to Worcester, and it was brutal to start. It was just like a continuation of his last month in the majors. It was bad. And you didn't know what position he could play, and he couldn't hit. That's turned around, man. Christian Campbell is red hot. He's on a 15-game hitting streak. Second longest in Woo Sox history. Woohoo! He's on a 15-game hitting streak. His OPS is now up to 830. His on-base percentage is over 400, and he's got 4 homers with 17 RBI and 54 total bases in 35 games. He's starting to drive runs in again. He's starting to hit with power again. And oh, by the way, he's playing a really good first base. Christian Campbell might just be your answer to a guy who can play first base and be a legitimate bat in your lineup every day. We've seen it in a short spurt that he can do it in the major leagues. And I think first base is still the biggest hole for this Red Sox team. Abraham Toro, that asteroid has fallen down to earth, man. Hitting 203 with a 540 OPS in his last 41 games. The last month and a half, he's sucked. Christian Campbell, on the other hand, is getting hotter again. And I know it's in AAA. I know that. But here's the thing. Christian Campbell has hit at every level of baseball he's played in. He didn't forget how to hit. Did he need a better approach in the major leagues? Yes, he did. He found that out by playing in the major leagues, and now they're working on that in the minor leagues. He needed to play a new position. Might as well do that at the minor league level when you have that flexibility rather than watching him fail some more at the major league level. Well, here he is, man. He's made one error in 157 innings at first base. He's got a 993 fielding percentage at first base. A 990 gets you in the top 10 in the league at that position in the major leagues. He can play the position. He's going to play the position. It's the oldest cliche in the book, but like, you don't like that the Red Sox didn't make big trade deadline deals? Here's your trade deadline deal right here. It's cliche and it's stupid and it's probably overused. But your trade deadline acquisition for a bat is Christian Campbell. September 1st, when they expand the rosters, he's going to be up in the majors again. And he's going to be platooning at first base with, there we go, first base. And he's going to be platooning at first base with Romy Gonzalez, who has been, I don't want to say a revelation because it's not like the guy's battling for an MVP, but he's been a good major league hitter. He's been a serviceable, everyday major league hitter. You just platoon those guys at first. Like the greatest Red Sox team ever in 2018 had a platoon at second base, right? Ian Kinsler was getting the last drops out of his career. He actually sucked for the Red Sox. And Brock Holt was a Romy Gonzalez. He was a serviceable, everyday player that you'd rather be a utility guy. That team won the World Series and won 119 games. Like, the greatest Red Sox teams ever have been able to do that and pull that off. Christian Campbell is probably your next guy up. This mystery prospect that everyone just sort of forgotten about, because Marcelo Meyer didn't get sent down and Roman Anthony's now getting extended and he's the best prospect in baseball. All of a sudden, Christian Campbell's become a bust. Just say it at your own risk, man. At your own risk. Christian Campbell, I fully believe he is going to prove a lot of Red Sox fans and analysts wrong in September and October of this year. He's hit at every level so far. He was a super prospect for a reason. He made the opening day roster for a reason. He won the AL Rookie of the Month in April for a reason. And he's figuring it out now. He's going to be a major league player by the end of this season. He's going to be a part of this Red Sox team for the next decade, and he is not going to be a bust. In fact, I think he could be a real factor for this team in the postseason. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Christian Campbell's a bust? Do you think he'll help him in this year's playoffs? Is it somewhere in between? Let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you're excited for this Red Sox team and this playoff push they're about to make. We're talking about the Red Sox, the Bruins, everything else going on in Boston sports every weekday at noon Eastern time. But over 90% of you are not actually subscribed. So do me a favor. Like, subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. We're on the path towards 4,000 subscribers, and we're getting closer by the day after this great summer. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. We understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit TwoSains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.